Hello everybody. Today we discuss the aorist, and therefore as regards the aorist is the usual past tense of Pali. It's generally formed directly from the root and more rarely from the present stem by adding special inflections. And sometimes a short a is prefixed to the root as an indication of the past time, though the difference of inflections avoids ambiguity in most cases. The short a is the augment, and this goes between the prefix, if any, and the root. The root is sometimes changed to form a special aorist stem. There are three main forms of aorist according to the stem used, having some differences in inflection also, corresponding only partially to the conjugations or to the classes of the present tense. Hence, however, there are more aorist forms than these three which we will encounter here, or the three main forms. So the first form is the so-called E form in Pali, the E aorist, and in Sanskrit the Is aorist. It is followed by the majority of verbs, and it simply adds a set of inflections beginning with the vowel E to form the root, sometimes to the present stem. It has no augment. We have here upasankami from upasamkamati, so to approach, or he approaches. Upasankami, upasankamimsu, upasankami, upasankamitta, upasankaming, upasankamimha, or upasankamimha. The last a can either be short or long or short, I mean. The second form of aorist, a few verbs which are inflected in the same way, is as, ati, we haven't learned this yet, but we will soon learn it, to be, asi, he was, it was, here it has the augment, a plus a is a, long a, pakam, pakami, he went away, pakamimsu, the plural, je, jayi, meditated, puch, je, jayati, jayi, puch, puchati, puchi, he asked, bandati, bandi, he bound, bas, basati, abasi, he said, spoke, papachati, papachi, he went forth, pavisati, pavisi, he entered, he went in. So here the augment goes in between the prefix and the following root. And here the prefix goes before the root. But here bas doesn't have any prefix. Nisit, nisitati, nisiti, he sat down. The next type of aorist is the so-called C aorist, in Sanskrit called the S aorist, and this is for the verbs of the seventh conjugation or seventh class. The aorist stem is formed by adding a sa to the present stem and to the present stem in e, meaning this deseti, he teaches, desesi, he taught, desesum, they taught, desesi, you taught, desitta, you taught plural, you plural taught, desesing, I taught, desimha, we taught. The second person singular coincides with the second person singular present tense. So we have to watch out in such cases. Kat, kateti, katesi, he related, he told. Paridev, paridevati, paridevesi, he lamented, he grieved. Amant, amanteti, amantesi, he addressed. Moreover, there's a third form of aorist which is taken by a small but important group of verbs, mostly with roots ending in long a. Like the second form, it has a stem in sa and the usual singular inflections, but the plural inflections begin with the vowel long R, with the vowel short R. Kar, karoti, to make, to do, or to work, takes this aorist after changing irregularly into kar. So from kar we have kar. Several verbs of this group take the augment. In which case here we also have a, the augment. So we have akar, and then the s, and then the e, akasi. In the plural we have the short a, akamsu, then akasi, akattha, akasim, akamha, or akamha. Could be either short or long. And the long R, I think, becomes shortened due to the double consonant following here. Okay, then we have another, okay, sorry. Ta, tittati, atasi, he stood, he remained. Da, dadati, deti, adasi, he gave. Baha, bajahati, bahasi, he renounced. The root hu is very irregular in the aorist. The singular takes strengthening guna and s or sa, and the third plural substitutes e for the root vowel. So we have from hu, hoti, we have ahosi, he was, there was, ahesung in the plural. So we don't have ahosung, we have ahesung, ahosi, ahuvata, ahosing, ahumha. The root bu is seen in the aorist only with prefixes when it usually follows the above inflections. So we have them bosi, for example, api sam bhavati, we have api sam bosi. The usages for the aorist are, it is used for all kinds of past actions, including, besides the historical or narrative past, particularly the present perfect. For example, de sesing, I have taught. When more precise demarcations of the time relations are needed, participles are used in conjunction with the main verb. Regarding all aorists, the second person plural and the first person plural, in this case ahuvata and ahumha, they are rarely used. However, the third person singular and the third person plural, they are widely used. So if you're just starting out learning the aorist, focus on these two, third person, singular and plural. If you're just starting out again, learning the aorist, then it is difficult to form the aorist by yourself because there are different kinds of aorists, and it's a bit tricky to form them. However, it is quite easy to recognize them. So if you recognize an aorist, translate it as such, i.e. with past tense. The next thing we discuss is the agreement of verb and subject. So when a verb has two or more subjects, it usually agrees with the sum of the subjects and is plural. More rarely, it may agree with the nearest subject only, or with the subjects taken as a collective being singular. If persons conflict, the second person takes precedence over the third person and the first person over both. But I have to admit, these last two cases I've hardly seen, or I'm not sure if I've ever seen them. So just remember, if you're just starting out, the verb agrees with the subject in an active sentence regarding person and number. And just to give you a little bit of an example, we have not learned this yet, but we can just sneak preview into it. We have learned, for example, poriso and porisa. So poriso vadati, the man says, this is singular, and here vadati is also singular third person, and this is also then singular third person. Porisa vadati, so nominative singular, and hence the vadanti, this is also plural third person, as well as here nominative plural, and then also third person. So the man say, so man spelled with an E. If we were to have a pronoun, we haven't learned this yet, but we will soon learn it. Vadami by itself would already mean I say, but we can put the personal pronoun aham just for emphasis in front of it. So aham vadami, I say. Here it agrees with the subject, which is aham, both in person and number, singular first person, or like singular first person. Mayam vadama, same, plural and first person, we say. Tvam vadasi, second person singular, you say. Tum he vadata, second person plural, you plural, you guys say. So in an active sentence, one more time, the verb agrees with the subject regarding person and number. Okay, then Punadasanaya, Tava Babeya, Subham Mangalam.